So as you can see from this video, the smoke's starting to settle in a little bit in the Quesnel area, and I think the key priority for us over the next few days will be for people to manage their personal health, manage and moderate their activities outside, be smart about the level of activity you have if this smoke gets thicker. And it's different in different areas of the community, and I completely get that. In the uplands area where you're a bit higher and you're a bit more into some of the smoke, particularly coming from the West Fraser Road Fire Complex, but also coming up the Fraser River Valley from the fires down south, that smoke's going to be thicker, and some people may start experiencing some of the bigger ash that's coming down. I want to state again, I've stated it many times, and I know it's hard for people who are in the smoke. Smoke does not mean fire is nearby or imminent or has changed its behaviors. This smoke will travel all over. We have friends in Edmonton who are complaining about our smoke in Edmonton. They've had a fairly significant smoke event up in Prince George. My understanding is Kamloops getting a fairly significant smoke event on and off as well. So smoke isn't an indicator of change in fire behavior. It's something that we need to deal with from a health perspective. The weather over the next couple of days, we're hoping with some rain, will knock some of that smoke down, clear the air a little bit, take advantage of the outside when those events occur, and it's smarter and safer and healthier to be outside. We had a meeting with all of the evacuees, or we invited all of the evacuees, of which there's almost 1,200 evacuees in the Quesnel area now, at the the Quesnel and District Arts and Recreation Center yesterday, West Fraser Timber Room, and about 200 plus evacuees showed up. We brought the RCMP. It was a Cariboo Regional District hosted meeting. Director John Massier, who's the Vice Chair of the Cariboo Regional District, hosted the meeting. The RCMP came in and answered some questions for the evacuees. Many of them were concerned about the personal safety of their personal belongings and their homes. He was able, Staff Sergeant Burton, who's our detachment commander, was able to answer a number of those questions. We do have backcountry capacity now, so we have, because of the additional RCMP resources, we have patrols going out into the back roads. We have had situations in which individuals have been apprehended, both here and down in the Williams Lake 100 Mile House area. So the RCMP resources are there. We had health talk about what it takes to bring a hospital back up to 100% functionality, and that will be the case in 100 Mile House and in Williams Lake. And we talked with the evacuees about what the stepwise process will be for some of those communities becoming available for evacuees to return. So health facilities need to be brought back up. If a hospital has been closed, it needs to go through a full, rigorous decontamination process. The oxygen lines that have been shut down have to be bled. You know, the various surgical rooms have to be cleaned. All of the various equipment has to be worked. The HVAC, the heating and air conditioning system, all needs to be checked and filters changed. It's a long process. My understanding is that in 100 Mile House in Williams Lake, what the health authority will do is get the emergency room up and running first, so they have emergency capacity, and then slowly, stepwise, the rest of the hospital, because with the emergency room functioning, the residents can start coming back in, and the patients can be transferred later back to their own hospital in their own community when the hospital is ready to accommodate that. So while it may take a long time for the hospital to be fully functional, the emergency room process should be a shorter period of time. Then they have to check all the utilities. Now, for the most part, my understanding, most of the 100 Mile House area and Williams Lake area have not had a big interruption in hydro. People can actually phone if they're evacuated on an order or self-evacuated from an alert area. There is a phone number they can phone to check in with BC Hydro, and I believe BC Hydro is also giving them some forgiveness on their energy bill as well. But if your house has not been interrupted with power, then some of the issues around food and your freezers functioning, your fridge functioning, will be diminished from some of the news that's out there about wrapping tape around your fridge and taking it to the dump. That's only in an extreme situation. There is now a help guide online for individuals who will be returning back, what to do at their home level, and we're trying to get better information out to the communities about what will happen at the community level. So that was a big question coming from the evacuees. And then we did have some questions about health here in town. And I have to say, we are benefiting greatly from the fact that we recruited so many doctors to our community, we have so many specialists, and we have great people here, from the nurses, the nurse practitioners, the doctors, the technologists and lab technicians. They're doing a phenomenal job. We are able to provide resources, both emergency care, some of the issues that are arising because of smoke and so on, and then chronic care management to the evacuees in our community, and Northern Health outlined that yesterday. If our evacuees have an emergency situation, report to emergency. If they're not sure about what is happening with their health or with the smoke, they can check in at emergency. But the primary care clinic that we've just recently set up will act as a bit of a pseudo walk-in clinic for them, where doctors will get assigned. And if they do have chronic care needs and they know they've got chronic care needs, they should just go straight to the primary care clinic, which is just across the street from G.R. Baker Memorial Hospital on Front Street. Our structural fire crew that has been down in the 108 mile area since the fires began back before even the lightning storm. We've been rotating the volunteers and the staff through that crew. We have a firefighting truck down there, and we have a water tender. And right now we've got about 6 individuals that are rotating through, so 3 for each of those vehicles. They have been moved from 108 up to the Miocene area, and Miocene's about halfway from 150 Mile House to Horsefly. We've rotated about 17 people through that crew over the period of time since the fires started, and the reports we're getting back from them are very interesting about fire behavior and what they're doing to protect homes in those areas. And they're doing a phenomenal job. We're thrilled that they're able to engage in that level, and I really want to thank both our staff and our volunteers for providing that service. What I'm working on right now, because we have the luxury of time, we have no fires imminent. There are some order changes. People need to pay attention to the Cariboo Regional District website. There was a clarification on the evacuation order area on the West Fraser Road. We got a report from Area Director Dylan Cash today that the morale is quite high over there now. A big chunk of that population, the ranchers, are able to get back to their homes because they've pulled the order back and they're now only under alert. So some of those barricades have been moved, and there are a lot of resources putting to the more immediate fires that are risking the big collection of ranches and homes in the area. So Director Dylan Cash stated that there's a real morale boost over there as people begin to get back in their homes and the fires start to get knocked back. Where my attention is being paid just now is on the employer side of things. We have lots of people who would like to get back to work, particularly in Gibraltar. So the City of Quesnel is working with the Gibraltar management team to house some of the workers from Williams Lake that were evacuated to Kamloops and Prince George. We're working through our emergency social services and our economic development group in the City Hall to try and facilitate some of those employees operating out of Quesnel. So they'll live here and work down at Gibraltar. And that barricade in the McLeese Lake, McAllister area has also been pulled back to make it easy to access up into the Gibraltar mine area. And then I'll be working with CNC Wood Products, trying to understand what's happening with our smaller business operators on what we can do to help them with their businesses and some of the issues they've got. CNC Wood Products has had to take their sawmill down because they've run out of log supply. So I'll be attempting to meet with them today before I brief the new Minister of Forests on what some of our options and opportunities are here. I'm also hoping to spend the afternoon and evening and tomorrow morning directly communicating with the new cabinet and the new cabinet ministers some of the options and opportunities that we're feeling they could act on quickly to help us during this period that we're dealing with the fires and beyond.